Be advised, mature content ahead. This podcast is brought to you ad-free thanks to the Legion of Demons at patreon.com/NOTLP. If you like what you hear, there's much more at patreon.com/NOTLP. Join the Legion. That's patreon.com/NOTLP. And now the show.
How do you do? Just a word of friendly warning. I think it will thrill you. It may shock you. It might even horrify you. So if any of you feel that you do not care to subject your nerves to such a strain, now is your chance to, well, we've warned you.
Jason was just talking about how whenever he eats movie theater popcorn, he rips ass.
I just I tear ass. Last night,
torn to pieces.
When I got out of the Joker,
he has no ass right now.
About an hour into the Joker, I realized that I had a lot of coffee and Mr. Pibb in me.
Woo!
And it was pretty rough getting
It
that
was
last
a bubbling
hour.
cauldron.
And so I ran out of the theater. My wife and son are like, "Is there an after credit scene?" I was like, "Don't care, bye." And I get into the bathroom and thank God someone has the hand dryer going because I was just tearing ass in there.
That's cool.
Bless that mess. Okay, so what's the deal?
Oh, that
here?
explains why the theater's closed today. You destroyed it.
Well, we just did a dress rehearsal for an hour.
More than an hour.
Probably
and it was
more than an
awesome.
Hour. It was so good.
It's the best show you're never going to hear.
Whenever we have a really good show, I make sure to fuck it up somehow.
Really good show.
I crossed my legs and I hit the big orange button that powers
the big button that says "Do not hit."
Yeah, the big orange button that powers everything in the studio. My knee bumped right into it and shut everything down, and the file got corrupted because of that. And I wasn't running a backup recording, even though I had just bragged last week about how great it is that I could do that. Yet I wasn't doing that. I'm a real piece of work.
Speaking of Charlie Brown-like things, Freddie.
So this is the Halloween specials, October. We do this every year. I'm Freddie. Amy is here.
Yes.
Andy is here. Jason from Horror Hound and Night of the Comic is here.
Graciously wasting an afternoon with us.
Yeah, we killed an hour together warming up.
I just hope we didn't blow our comedy loads on the
I got nothing left.
on the last episode because I'm kind of the feeling of losing the episode. It kind of is draining.
It is draining.
So we're gonna do our best to give you some content.
I think it's good.
We have unlimited material. Look at that. We started the episode with me talking about ripping ass
that was
in
new.
the movie theater.
We didn't have that before.
Yeah. Special.
So we're gonna
be fast.
talk about Married with Children. Take My Wife, Please. Amy's pick. And
Poor
then
Freddie.
We'll talk about Andy's pick.
Freddie, that guy feels so horrible. Freddie sounds so defeated.
I'm so tired.
But we still haven't talked. We didn't fully get to talk about Murder
Let's
She
start
Wrote.
with Murder, She Wrote.
Yeah.
Do you want to start with Murder, She Wrote?
Yeah, let's start with Murder, She Wrote.
Now, before we do that, we got to do roulette real quick.
Oh, yeah.
I want to thank our patrons. Amy, Fozzie, and I just did a Night of the Comic about Kappa Force and the new Creep Show series on Shudder. Check that out. You don't have to be a patron to listen to that show. Just go to patreon.com/NOTLP. You can sign up for our mailing list. We're doing a giveaway of Robotone's book. So sign up for that. We'll announce that later in the show who won this week, and Rob will mail that out to you. Also, that person will be picking our final main attraction for our Halloween specials this month. There's the advantage of doing it twice. Forgot to mention that the first time.
Yeah, it's true.
I was just thinking that was new.
Yeah. And what else for the top? Nothing, right?
Cincinnati's getting a Hard Rock.
We're getting Hard Rock. Amy's
Casino.
excited.
Yeah,
She's
Perry
a weirdo.
Mason, Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah, you missed all
Ozzy
that.
Osbourne
Pieces.
made a song about Perry Mason. God. We were doing the 31 Days of Halloween. Some of us are watching a bunch of movies.
It just sounds like we're just shouting out words right now.
Words! Words! Oh, God, words!
It's just a word salad doesn't mean anything.
All right. We'll be back with Straight-to-Video Russian Roulette after this.
Hello, boys and girls. It's time for Straight-to-Video Russian Roulette.
I like how wet the vomit is at the end.
I'm glad.
So I watched a movie called Head Count. This was written and directed by Elle Callahan, who's known for working in lesser capacities on other major films like Wonder Woman, where she was in the editorial department, works on sound on some things. But this is her first feature film.
In Spanish, it's called The Callahan.
La Callahan. This is from IMDb. I like these because they're succinct descriptions. A group of college students on a weekend getaway accidentally summon a supernatural entity intent on using them for its deadly ritual. In titty.
I'm sorry, I'm so immature.
It's okay, Andy.
It was a very highbrow comedy in the last episode.
The last episode, there's some really crafted.
It was like really good Dennis.
Leary? No Cure for Cancer stuff?
No.
That wasn't
Who's the other guy?
Dennis
Dennis Miller.
Oh,
but it was like
one.
not
smug.
not smug, but it was like that highbrow.
I blame Married with Children is bringing us down trash.
I did. I'm going to watch where I cross my legs now, by the way. I am running back up.
It's because he was doing the Sharon Stone thing in Basic Instinct.
And my dong flopped out and hit the button.
Wow, it was a real small button then.
Yeah, real big.
That's
button.
not nice.
What? So head count. Yeah, it's okay. It's kind of a middling, mediocre. It's not terrible. It's definitely, for me, not worth the time. So I'm going to spoil it for you. So if you don't want to be spoiled on head count and you want to check it out, it's on Netflix. This one teenager and his older brother, they're hanging out in the desert. They meet another group of young people. The younger brother runs off with this other group of young people. They end up at like this Airbnb type thing that looks like the Alamo kind of. And there's some sort of entity that wants to get a magic number of people in this area together at the same time, which is revealed throughout the exposition in the movie.
I don't remember any of this from the last. No, I'm kidding.
Are you reviewing a different movie?
And then it will make you commit suicide, essentially.
This review?
It sounds a lot like Midsummer.
It's funny you should say that, Jason. It does have a little bit of a Midsummer vibe, only not nearly as effective or nice to look at as Midsummer, but it's a mediocre.
That was so natural, movie. Jason. The conversation you just brought up.
It really is amazing how it works. Yeah. So
poor.
He's okay.
I love this. This is great.
Pity on me.
Now, I feel bad for Freddy, but I feel bad for our listeners for not being able to hear that.
Yeah. You mean the longer, more rambling version of this review?
That's the whole episode, though. That's every episode we do.
Adoy.
Yeah. I don't really have much to say about this other than that. And I think that we were having such a good time talking about Halloween specials.
Yeah, we'll get right to it.
We're going to get right into that. But first, let's see who's going to... Yeah? Or was it?
It was her.
I mean...
Sorry, spoiler.
So, Andy, let's see. Is it going to be Andy? No, it's not Andy. Let's see if it's going to be Amy. I bet it is.
I get the boner noise.
You get the boner noise.
And I'm going to watch In the Tall Grass, which is the Joe Hill, Stephen King story adaptation that's on Netflix right now, directed by Vincenzo Natali.
Mm-hmm.
She actually did the hand thing, too.
He did Cube.
And Splice.
Which Amy loves, but she didn't really know that.
I never saw that.
She never saw it.
We were talking about that. It's the guy who did Splice, and we started talking about aliens banging.
Yes,
but I just actually caught that it's Joe Hill and Stephen King and Patrick Wilson. It is a solid. Sounds like a solid. Could be a solid movie.
I think so. I'm hoping
a good pedigree.
So anyway,
healthy teeth.
After hearing a boy's cry for help,
long lovely coat,
a pregnant woman and her brother wade into a vast field of grass, only to discover there may be no way out. So I'll review that on the next show.
Was it based on like a short story or something?
Yeah, that they wrote together.
Oh, good. Sounds like a Twilight Zone episode or something. Doesn't it?
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. It is very Twilight Zone.
Hey, whenever.
All right. I guess we'll be right back with the main attraction. Mm-hmm. We're just moving right along.
We're doing good.
Moving right along.
The main attraction, satisfaction, guaranteed to rock the chains that bind you.
All right, this week's main attraction.
I'm sorry, I was going to ask, is that like a a song that exists, or would someone
Yeah.
make that for you? Or
We recorded it. Is
that you?
It's
Wow,
Andy
that's
singing.
Andy?
Yeah. Actually, that's Quiet Riot.
I should have known that.
Yeah.
Which is one of my. I
You
love
can
them.
pull Perry Mason by Ozzy Osbourne out of your ass.
It's not out of my ass. It was a big hit in the 90s. It was his return.
I see.
It was a big hit for a certain group of people.
Yeah. You know what else is a big hit for a certain group of people? Elderly people. Murder, She Wrote, plus Andy. Elderly people plus Andy.
I'm getting up there though.
You are.
This was Andy's pick for our Halloween specials. Fire Burn, Cauldron Bubble from season 5 of Murder, She Wrote back in the 80s. And boy, oh boy, this thing was star-studded. Star-studded. Angela Lansbury, always Jessica Fletcher.
Stars a
But
bunch of studs.
also Brad Dourif.
What?
That's
The
Chucky.
Brad Dourif?
Yeah, Brad Dourif. The Brad Dourif. Bill Maher.
The
Of
fuck?
Real Time with Bill Maher. Roddy McDowell. Who we know and love from Fright Night and Planet of the Apes.
And all of the Planet of the Apes. He played 3 characters in Planet of the Apes.
Did he?
He's like the Eddie Murphy of his.
He played
of
Cornelius.
that time.
Yeah.
And then when Cornelius died, he played his own son, Caesar. And then he played, God damn it, what was the ape's name? And he was in the TV show.
Little known fact, inspiration from Medea.
All right.
Oh my girl.
Little known because it's not true.
I thought you meant the ancient Greek tragedy.
Yeah, that too.
That wouldn't make sense. Okay. Christopher Stone's in this. You know him from The Howling, probably, if you're listening to this show. Also, Dee Wallace, when they were married. They did this together. Dee Wallace, E.T.'s mom.
This
anyone?
is, this cast, if it was in a movie, it would be like one of the most beloved movies ever.
Yes, very
Yeah.
much so.
And I noticed
Except for the Bill Maher part.
well, his mullet was horrific. That's his horror credit.
Beautifully feathered hair.
I did notice the writer was Tom Sawyer.
Yeah, we
pretty
laughed
funny.
about that because we were like, what? Who? Throughout the cast
It's like,
list.
oh my god, this cast is the writers are just everywhere.
Fictional character wrote this.
So, besides your just general love of Murder, She Wrote, what inspired this choice, Andy?
Well, it's the theme of the show is very horror-ish, and the cast. It was just
When you say
it came
horror
together.
stars,
So-
yeah.
Yeah.
Just because I said it before, I'll reiterate, and I'm not trying to be like that. I was very drunk when I watched this.
He was a drunk boy.
You know Murder, She Wrote. This takes place in the 5th season. This episode we watched. Is this legend that they talk about, does this pop up in any other previous?
No.
Patience Terhune.
That's the thing about Cabot Cove. It's a funny little place.
Because like when it came out like everyone knows this.
It's the 300th anniversary of the death of a maybe
Everyone
witch.
does this.
There are certain threads that run throughout the whole series, but
Yeah.
this came out of nowhere.
And like, would you say like maybe half the episodes take place in Cabot Cove or more than that?
Probably just half.
Just about
Yeah.
half. Because usually she's on the road.
Yeah, she spreads her death around.
You know
She
what
does.
I'm going to say? And I kind of said this. I'm going to stop saying that I said this before. One. I'm going to stop referring to the Lost episode. But I mentioned how never watched Murder, She Wrote when I was younger, but watched Married with Children. I would now watch more Murder, She Wrote.
It's soothing as hell.
It's very
isn't it?
cozy.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's just an age thing, like getting older. Like
I think so.
It makes your bones hurt
This
less.
is pleasant.
You're like,
Gentle.
Yeah.
The world is so
Cove.
brutal.
It's like a good yogurt.
Yeah.
Is that a casserole dish from the episode? My mom had that.
Oh,
remember that?
the white one with the vegetables on the side? Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
the classic casserole dish.
The setting's great because Cabot Cove is a very cozy little village on the water in Maine.
I tell you, Dairy Maine got nothing on Cabot Cove.
Yeah, fuck Dairy Maine.
Cabot Cove is a scary ass place.
But what if you took Jessica Fletcher and put her in?
She's like Pennywise because she's a portent of death.
But do children die in Cabot
But
Cove?
Andy, nobody ever really dies in Cabot Cove.
And like Pennywise, Jessica Fletcher's all up in everybody's business. She knows all your secrets, just like
And
Pennywise.
27 years later, she comes back.
Every 27 years.
I like that because Angela Lansbury is fantastic. But they have a legend that all, I think, New England towns have, that there was a witch that was burned.
I don't know if those are legends so much as historically facts.
Okay,
You know what?
you're right.
What we
You're
learned
right.
in Salem is that witches, they weren't actually burned. Most of them were hanged or
Whoa.
smushed.
Well, then what the hell are they complaining about?
Or
Yeah.
drowned.
Is it less dramatic to be hanged and smushed?
Well, what happened to Giles
Those
Corey is
smushings,
very
man.
dramatic.
Those
That was
smushings were bad.
Oh, the smushing. I love where he's like, more weight, bitches.
And he's just like, he's still got his fingers out, so he's just like,
You know the
double
story,
middle
right?
fingers.
Yeah.
More.
Yeah, it's pretty badass,
That's
actually.
That's the way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Patience Terhune.
I'm impressed you pulled that out of your memory.
Well, because they kept
Yeah.
saying
They
it.
did.
And it was just a weird ass last name.
The whole
Terhune.
episode is so convoluted.
It is.
Yeah, I only brought up the drunk thing because towards the end I was like, what
Well,
in the
it-
fuck? Like,
Freddie did a few of those.
it's
It took
fucking
sober.
Bill Maher's dressed like a pilgrim.
It took me a while to suss out what was happening because a lot happens.
All right, Andy, give it to us.
Dr. Seth, like he visits a patient and he notices a lady just like a pilgrim by this stump of a tree. Tree
witch's-
stump. Yeah,
witch
the witch's stump, where apparently Patience
Terhune.
Terhune was hung.
Hanged. It's hanged.
Hanged?
It should be hung, but I think it's hanged.
We'll put it.
I feel like if anyone knows this, it should be you,
it's,
Andy.
we'll call it hunged.
Considering your last name.
Well, meet in the middle.
Dun-dun-sh.
It's hunged. She was hunged many years ago, and apparently he sees her ghost doing the ceremony later on, like in present day. And he chases after her. She runs off, and then he spreads the news that he saw this ghost of Patience Terhune. And lo and behold, the same time that it happens, the author of a book about Patience Terhune is visiting, and it turns out it was a big stunt to get more sales for his book, and there's more intrigue
Because there was no
involved.
media. No
Yeah.
media showed up.
Yeah, Bill Maher is Roddy McDowell's the author, and Bill Maher is his media consultant, and he's supposed to be bringing the media because the media is supposed to love this.
Then Roddy plays like the snooty author who like looks down on Jessica.
He was mean to her.
And Dee Wallace
Her
plays,
name is just Jessica. Yes.
Yeah.
Dee Wallace plays like the descendant of Patience Terhune, and that's why Roddy McDowell knows about this legend and stuff, because he worked with Dee Wallace's character for research.
Did you know that actor who plays the doctor friend of Jessica's? He was on a bunch of Twilight Zones and Night Galleries. Yeah, and he was also...
Oh goddamn! Yeah, I thought he looked familiar.
yeah, he was also in the movie Dismembered and Children of the Corn: The Gathering, where he played Doc Larson.
He plays
Fun
Doc.
facts.
So there's even more of a horror cred to
Yeah,
this episode.
there's got a lot of horror cred in here.
And you notice, like later seasons, he gets thinner. he got cursed by a gypsy.
Because he was getting a blowjob in a car and hit a gypsy lady.
Jessica was blowing him.
You
Although he's clearly her
Freddie.
gay friend, right?
He's a little sassy.
Don't you feel like she always has like kind of like a confirmed bachelor friend?
she's kind of a confirmed bachelor, right?
Yeah, a little bit. Well, she's a widow, right?
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. I'm sorry.
And she doesn't have any children. She has a billion nieces and nephews.
She does.
Yeah. Wherever they are conveniently located for a story to happen.
You forgot to mention in your discussion of this part that there is a potluck coming up for the gardening club, and there's concern that there won't be enough food.
Is that a big sticking point for you?
That's where the
It really it becomes part of the plot. Like, no, it doesn't. I was just
I was
joking.
just say I don't remember that one at all.
It was true though.
Yeah, they ran out of food, and the witch cursed them because they ran out of food.
So you're right. This is so fucking convoluted. Because okay, keep going. I'm sorry.
It's only when you hear the cast and like you hear how many big names are in this episode and you realize it's only a 45-minute long episode and you're like, where the fuck do they put all these people?
How
And it's
is
like
this
that's because
happening?
that's how many threads there are going on.
And then I guess Dee Wallace's character, her long lost sister, comes back.
Yeah.
I don't know why Exactly.
So why did they move away when they were children?
Because their parents died, and Dee Wallace's character was young, and she couldn't take care of her sister.
She was only 15.
Yeah, she got sent away to live with her aunt. But I don't know why.
Why wouldn't they both
the
go?
sister plot was necessarily important to this episode?
Well, there was two reasons.
No,
Yeah.
but I don't know why it was connected to the publicity stunt.
Yeah, I guess I don't really understand.
She
that either.
wasn't really her sister. One.
Yeah, I know that, but I don't know why the Roddy McDowell's Arthur character had to pretend that this was her sister.
Well, no, Bill Maher.
hired her.
Spoilers alert, I guess. We spoil it. Bill Maher's character sets fire to a barn, and wasn't she in there, or who died in there?
She did. The actress, that the
Andy's
supposed
right.
sister.
This doesn't make any goddamn sense. So,
I'm lost again. I'm not even drunk.
So Bill Maher had hired the fake sister.
Yes.
To pretend
To
to
be-
be patient.
To get.
The doctor to see her.
Yes.
And to be like, I saw her ghost. But at the same time, this girl is also pretending to be Dee Wallace's sister, a long lost sister. For what reason?
Okay, I think it's
Because
because
their own property.
But nobody knew that.
that way. I think I know why. Because
Okay.
It was the boyfriend.
they asked the sister, like, why'd you all of a sudden come back? And she was like, I just felt this weird attraction to come back.
She did say that.
But it's just the coincidence of
Because they are descendants of Patience
Yeah.
Terhune.
But it wasn't her boyfriend was in on it too.
No.
Her
No.
husband.
No.
It
so
turns
Dee
out-
Wallace's fiance, who's Christopher
Yeah.
Stone, knew that her inheritance.
Can you hit the power button? Can we just
Okay, here's the thing. Okay, I think I figured it out. There's this other side plot where Dee Wallace's uncle had this farm, apple orchard.
And his head popped off.
And she was going to inherit all that money.
Yeah, but it became it's just like a mini
she
mall
comes from
now.
Apple money.
Yeah.
And we don't mean
Honeycrisp.
computers.
They crushed all the other apple orchards. And coincidentally, it coincided with
Yeah, so the fiance
This-
knew that she was going to inherit $5 million fucking dollars, but it would have been had to have been split between the sister. Now that the sister's back in her life, he's like, she's going to take half of my money. So he kills this girl who he thinks is his fiance's sister and hides her in the barn.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Bill Maher is pretending to be Patience because the fake sister doesn't want to do it anymore because she feels bad.
Yeah. Because they questioned Bill Maher, and he did like the whole no, I only did this much. I didn't kill her.
I may be a dirtbag with a mullet, but I'm not a murderer.
So he pretends to be the ghost and burn the barn down, but there's a dead body in it too. And so Jessica Fletcher shows up to the barn crime scene and is like, did you guys check the cellar or anything in there? Of course, that's where the dead body is. Jessica, how did you know that?
Because she's a serial murderer.
Yeah.
That's some crazy shit.
Well, I just found out the coincidence of this happening when the inheritance comes in at the same time.
I will
It was
say
just
that
a lot
the
of
episode ended, and Dawn and I were both like, I think we got to rewind. And then we did rewind, and it was like, nope. Nope.
Like I said, it's
It was still
I
damn
thought
fun.
I
It
thought
was
I
fun.
understood it.
I thought I did too at the end until I guess I'm actually having to talk about it.
like I said, it's a very convoluted episode on top of the convoluted publicity stunt because it's based on the fact that Seth has to see her perform this ritual.
Well, they called a fake house call in to him because it turns out the woman he was going to do the house call on was out of town and couldn't have called him.
They're relying on him to spread all this gossip around. He saw this ghost. They're like, what if he didn't tell anybody?
How do they know this guy? They're new to town. Bill Maher and Roddy McDowell.
Yeah.
So they just pegged him as a town gossip or something, and they knew that he would spread the news that he saw a ghost, and then they're
This
banking.
is insane now.
They're banking on him riling up the town, like, oh, there's a ghost in town.
But I feel like the people who live here are ready to be riled.
Yeah.
I'm going to contradict myself and say I don't know if I want to watch any more Murder, She Wrote.
Are they all like this, Andy?
You know, you ever? There's two kinds of detective show, right? You have your Columbos and your Murder She Wrote. Murders She Wrote.
Yeah.
Anyways, In Columbo, you know who did it right away, and you get to watch him kind of figure everything out.
Break him down.
And break him down. But Murder, She Wrote, man, really fucks with your head.
Yeah.
No, don't take this as indicative of the other episodes. Like all the other episodes are very simple. It's always about somebody killing somebody for money or something like that.
Well, I was
Like real life.
Again, I don't watch a lot of television. I watched a lot of television back, when I was a kid. I think I remember TV shows doing this, but like they kind of show you the entire episode before the episode starts.
Yeah. Yeah. Tonight on Murder, She Wrote. They want to make sure you know who the guest stars are.
I guess.
Yeah.
So Brad Dourif.
Yeah, because they show him. He just had like a minor part of just like a preacher saying like witches are evil.
Yeah, he's gonna exorcise the town of Patience Terhune.
Of witches.
Patty T.
Fake witches.
Patty T.
But like rewatching this series, I realize it's a commentary on rich people.
Yeah.
Because all the people that get murdered are very upper class rich people, because that's the type of people she hangs out with. And they're always killing other people for money.
Yeah.
So it's a very indictment on the greed of
The
rich
80s.
white people.
Oh.
I also think that people really love when white people kill each other.
No, don't get me wrong. This is old lady porn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ew.
Oh, the 100%. That is a perfect description of that genre.
Is porn
Working in a bookstore.
It's porn for old ladies, not
So,
porn with old ladies.
What do the old ladies buy at your bookstore?
That.
Yeah.
Yeah. There it is.
So I guess we're all old ladies now because we love this
I
stuff.
do. The novels are fun.
I loved this episode. I did as confused as I was.
Well, I didn't know I was confused till we started knowing about it.
I did, but I didn't want to admit it.
Yeah.
I was blaming it on my alcoholism.
Yeah.
Blame it on the.
The thing about Murder, She Wrote, you can't cars it. You can't break it down because
That is one thing you love to do, though.
otherwise her whole thing will fall apart because I feel she would be fingered for a lot of these crimes.
Oh, fingering Jessica Fletcher.
That's some old lady porn. The books are confusing because the books say they're written by Jessica Fletcher, but they are stories about her
Hey,
life.
wait a minute. Like, this isn't real.
Story by George Lucas, written by Jessica
weird.
Fletcher.
And they are written about her life and the people in her life and the people from Cabot Cove. It's very weird. Anyway.
I will say that again, watching the intro to this, I'm big on intros all of a sudden, I guess.
Yeah.
It did take me back. I was like, God, I remember when this would start, I would leave the room.
Too scary?
No, it was just like, oh, this is boring. I'm going to watch like Benny Hill or something.
I was buzzing you, chops.
Now it's a siren song for you now. You hear it and you're just
Yeah.
be drawn to it. Like
You want to make some
watch.
tea and get in your easy chair. Let a dog curl up in your lap. That's what I meant to say.
And I don't know if the listeners want to necessarily see it, but a couple months ago, when the Snapchat filters were very popular, I put the gender swap Snapchat filter on Jessica.
Oh, Jessica Fletcher.
Yeah, and they're doozies.
Yeah, those are real good ones.
So if you guys want to see that, I'll put it on our Instagram page or something.
Yeah, repost that shit.
Yeah, that I think that's now a must.
Yeah. But do you guys like the episode?
Of course, yeah.
Yes.
I always enjoy
Yeah,
it.
I mean,
just-
like, even as confused as I was, the cast made it. The
Yeah.
cast was awesome.
It was funny because Amy and I were we were marathoning Murder, She Wrote for a while, and then it left whatever service it was on. We were
It
watching
was
it on.
Prime or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So fun. You ready for the next thing?
I don't know. Am I?
I don't know. Are you?
This isn't
Yeah, close.
close enough.
I'm going for the royalty-free versions of things these days, just in case.
No, it's educational purposes, like you
This
said.
is for
so it's
educational
okay.
purposes.
Who the hell is singing that?
Some generic guy. His name is John Smith.
Oh,
I don't know.
say that ain't old Blue Eyes.
No, it's not. So Amy's choice was Take My Wife, Please.
Season 7.
Was it Take My Wife or Take My Life?
It was Take My Wife. It should have been Take My Life, right?
Yeah, what the Take My Wife
That doesn't make any sense.
Right, it doesn't.
So Al is being confronted.
Married with Children is what we're talking about.
He's being crunk.
Al Bundy has been confronted with Death, who says, "Tonight's your night, bro, and it's Halloween night." I'm trying to do this in a different way than I did it before.
Unless it's a typo. But it says "Take My Wife, Please." But it's season 8, episode 7.
Season 8, episode 7. And Death is basically Peggy. She can appear in any way she wants, but she's
super hot with the black hair.
Let's not.
Freddie said that, but I want to say that Katie Seagal in this role was really cringy.
Oh,
really cringy.
The jokes were bad.
As Death? Oh, yeah.
Trying to play like a seductive Death was like, no, you're not doing it. Like,
I mean, like,
she wasn't given much material to
No.
work
Yeah.
with.
She had me at hello, though. This aired like a week before Halloween in 93. Do you remember what you were doing?
I was 13.
I was 13.
So no.
I was 15.
If I was 13, then that was the year before The Crow. So I wasn't dressed as the Crow yet.
You were 12 months away from being dressed as the Crow.
I was into horror.
Is that how you base your
yes.
life? Like
everything is BC
before Crow.
Yeah.
God damn it, that is too fucking perfect. God damn, that is too. And you thought you didn't have any material left.
Good golly.
I think I probably did I think the last time I did trick or treating was 13 or 14.
Well into high school.
Yeah.
I think I was a sophomore.
Yeah, and it's fine. That doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
We don't get any kids, so it's like if a teenager wandered up, fine, have some candy. I just want to experience this.
Yeah.
But anyway, meanwhile, Al is hanging out with Death. Meanwhile, his family's across the street at Marcy and Jefferson's house because Marcy's having a fundraising party for women who killed their husbands just to watch them die. And the village people were supposed to
Now,
show
are they
up.
raising funds for these wives or?
Andy, that was not part of the episode.
Again, let's not try to get too convoluted in this plot.
Who's the fundraiser
You're
for?
being the women, but to get them out of jail. Andy, I don't know.
But they're the ones that they're performing for. Are they giving money to themselves?
Okay.
It's a really good point.
I don't know.
Unless it's not them.
You know what?
But it is them.
But it is. They established.
We thought Murder, She Wrote was convoluted. Jesus.
Woo! All right. Well, the moral of the story is village people were supposed to show up and perform for these women, but they can't make it. So Marcy's like, I'll give you guys $500 to Kelley, Bud, and Peggy for them to come over along with Jefferson and to pretend to be the village people and perform for these murderesses. And they're like, shit, yeah, sounds good. And
Because they always need money.
yeah. Mm-hmm. So back to Al with Death, and he's like, I don't want to die. And she says, okay, I'll make you a deal. If your family says they need you one time before midnight, I'll let you live. And he's like, I'll pack my bags.
I'll pack my bags.
And so they are overperforming and pretending to be the village people. And then the real village people show up. And then, but the
Which
audience,
again, like she already said they canceled. Why did they show up
Yeah.
randomly?
did they have an
I don't know
excuse?
why they said they showed up again. I just watched it this morning too.
Jesus.
They
Doesn't
did
matter.
not give a reason as to why they randomly showed up again.
Maybe I turned my brain off at a certain point and just watched it.
You just
like
let
a
it
zombie.
happen.
You can't.
You let it happen.
You
to
can't go.
you.
You can't dive too deep into the married children pool because it will drag you down.
Yep.
Well, what was funny, and this is, I always make fun of Andy for carsing things, which is trying to go too deep into the why, which is the movie Cars. How do they reproduce? How does this? And then
Yeah.
your head can spin out of control. So when you're going to, you're not. It's called Cars.
Yeah, shut your brain off.
Just stop. So when Marcy first comes over to the house to ask the family to come over and pretend to be the village people, they're standing in the living room with bags on their heads for their
Yeah.
costumes. And she says, I'll give you $500. And they're like, sounds good. And they leave. When Al comes home from work, he finds a note on the refrigerator that says, we're
Yeah.
across the street at Marcy's pretending to be the village people. And I'm like, they didn't write that note. They left immediately.
But the note also said, there's a hot plate in the oven for you.
And then he went to get it, and it was just a hot plate.
Yeah.
The best fucking joke in the whole episode.
Agreed.
So it's just very confusing. I carsed it.
This continuity is just all fucked up.
I need to write a letter to somebody.
Dear Ed O'Neill, in episode 7 of season 8,
I need to do that.
Then there was the dinosaur at the door. We mentioned that last time, but not this
Yeah, the
time.
spitting dick.
Yeah, he's like, "Are you one of those dinosaurs that spits?" And
But,
he's like, "No, kid."
No.
And he says, "Well, I am." And then he spits black tar.
Well,
in his
again,
face.
and that does. Ed O'Neill was so good at physical comedy and his facial reactions to things.
He got a facial.
he did.
Yes. But the subplot that we again talked about is Kelly Bundy.
Yes.
She works for like a pest control company, and earlier in the episode, she like just throws the tanks, and you hear them land, and then
of
like they
poison.
shrug their shoulders. Which again, they're establishing a plot there.
Yeah.
Like they shrug their shoulders at it, like okay. And then at the end, it revealed that Al was breathing in that poison all the time.
So did Death really show
So
up?
did Death show up? And then, like, you know, he said, then the village people. And they said, no, we were the village people. And then Death shows up and they all dance.
Yeah.
But I bring that up because, again, Ed O'Neill's face when he starts trying to rehuff the poison was so fucking funny.
So at what point did the hallucination start? Did he hallucinate the hot plate too?
No.
Did he hallucinate the dinosaur
I
coming
think
in?
your car's
No,
in
you
it.
carsed it, and you have
So-
to stop.
Do you realize?
The family ended up saying they needed him because they found
Because of toilet paper.
Because of the toilet paper, and he would know if it's 1 or 2 ply.
Yep.
And Andy, you brought up before, you know, how problematic Married with Children is. And I guess maybe that is kind of like what I was picking up. I don't normally pick up on that stuff, but it is like, damn, it's like right in front of your face. And I thought you had a really good point when you said when they punched down.
Yeah.
And I never thought of it like that. That was a very good point because they're pretty low. They're trash.
And they still manage.
You know, like, and again, the oohs and ahs in the opening when Peggy's like has the whole layout of like the neighborhood, which is funny because they always talk about how they have no money. How did you afford this very nice printed cardboard of the neighborhood?
Because that's what they waste their money on.
And she points out like one of the houses is a the fucking people. They knock on the door. The
Jehovah's Witnesses.
Jehovah's
Oh.
Witnesses, and
said
they
the
said
Darcys.
they don't celebrate Halloween. And like Bud says, well, then why are we going to do it? And she says, so that they know how it feels. And like the whole audience, like, yeah, show them.
But they're like, yeah, I can relate. Yes.
Like, I don't like Jehovah's Witnesses, but are they that much of a problem in your life that you're cheering? Like,
And the one they said they were going to egg the house. The guy gave out fruit.
Yeah, Andy, you said that
Yeah.
hurt your feelings.
Yeah.
But like, just eat
In
the
all
egg.
fairness,
But they always complain about not having food. Just eat the eggs.
Oh
That's a
my
good
God! I
point,
never
too.
even thought of that. That was the.
and also, shouldn't you be happy to get any food? Like,
There's no way
Again,
they
to
don't
show
have
the-
scurvy.
to show the age, you know, of like what happened to me, I guess questioning an, like an existential crisis, you know, where it's like I liked Murder, She Wrote more than Married with Children, but also I think like I'd rather get fruit than candy now. Like
It depends
Honestly,
on the
solid
candy
apple, that's a lot of
and the
food.
fruit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it like a Honeycrisp? Is it like a Pink Lady? Because that
Like
shit's good.
a good cold grapefruit's hard to top.
Get out of here with your Red Delicious.
You can't eat.
Can you imagine if someone was handing out chilled grapefruits at Halloween?
Are they whole at least, or are they cut in half? Because
you got ice in that bag, kid?
so puts half a grapefruit in your bag, you'd be pissed.
I'm like, what the fuck, lady?
Freddie.
Here's some diced bananas.
You just cut him into the back like you do with cereal. Oh boy.
We have a good time.
Yeah.
We have good times.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was real dumb, but it was a Halloween episode.
I hate myself for laughing at certain parts. When Bud tried to leave, and the big fat black lady stood up and said,
get up and
You
sing."
get up and stage. I cackled so loud.
That was a really big lady. And I know the guy that
Very
plays
big.
Bud was kind of smaller,
Yeah, he's a little guy.
but she did dwarf him.
Yeah.
But I don't know why I was laughing. Am I laughing at her?
You don't have to overthink
But it's
it.
okay. Like, I think it's okay to laugh at that stuff. Like,
Yeah.
oh, this lady could kill him.
That lady
And-
wanted you to laugh. That's
Yeah,
why she
okay.
did that.
Yeah, she got paid for
It's
it.
okay to
Yeah,
laugh
she's
at
a
that.
comedian.
I just found myself like maybe I am trash. I know
no,
I'm
you
trash.
are.
Yeah,
we all are.
But I like to think that I'm not trash. But I think laughing at Married Children confirms it, right? It's like
Sure.
a trash test.
Well, there are certain things in the show that would be a trash test, but I don't think it's always trash. I enjoy it for the most part.
11 seasons. You
Yeah.
talked about this too, that I don't think we recorded, was Jason was like, how do you
I
sit
don't know
through?
how the fuck you got through 11 seasons.
We just sat through 2 times of in-depth conversation about this episode.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
But like the last 6 seasons.
So
of
are you
Married with
saying you
Children,
want
I
to
was
start a
done.
Married with Children podcast?
Maybe.
No, absolutely not.
Maybe.
I can tell you that
No, if you're like me and you like to binge watch sitcoms, old sitcoms, you're better off with Cheers or Golden Girls.
something
or-
with some substance to it.
Yeah. I mean, Kate and Allie. Is that streaming anywhere?
God, Kate and Allie, man. Oh, old
Yeah.
school. I used to love that shit.
I had a crush on the daughter with the
Yes,
red
yes.
hair.
You say that every time.
I know. I have to say it every time so I don't forget.
Well, you're a monster.
I don't want to forget.
So yes,
That's
Married
one of
with
my
Children.
favorite things. I love calling people monsters. It's great.
He's a monster.
Total monster.
He's a monster mash. So yeah, that's it. Married with Children.
It was a fun revisit. I said I used to watch the show constantly as a kid, and I haven't seen it in so long. This episode confirmed why I hadn't seen it in so long.
not for everybody.
It's just not like that. I don't know. And then again, I'm not saying that it was like offensive humor,
Not in this
But-
particular episode.
but I can think of some jokes
Not
that are
this one.
like, yeah, that was, yeah.
Yeah.
But then also it's just like, it's not funny to me anymore.
Yeah. No, for sure. And I had mentioned in the last episode how It's Always Sunny is a better version of
That
the
is
show.
that's a great example. Like that and Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Again, where you are cheering for the asshole, not rooting.
But really only bad things happen
Yes.
to those people. And even people you're not at first you think that they're being mean to somebody that is good or at least better than them. It turns out everybody sucks.
Yeah, like in the Married with Children world, everyone's an asshole and
Yeah.
everyone's trash.
Yeah. Definitely the fucking
Very nihilistic view on the world through Married with Children. Maybe that's
Oh, God, yeah.
maybe that's what formed my opinion on everything.
You know, I read, I think it's in the IMDb trivia for Married with Children, but Ed O'Neill, they said when he auditioned, he won them over, the casting, because he
attempted suicide in the audition.
right there in the room. Like most people played Al as like kind of an angry, like aggressive guy, and before he started his audition, he just kind of slumped. And
He
looked
was
defeated.
great at that. He was very good at that role.
And that's a way better version of Al.
And like I said,
than an
a
angry.
very like an aged Charlie Brown,
Yeah.
like where everything goes wrong, everyone hates him,
that Lucy never left.
but
him
he is an
alone.
asshole.
He married Lucy.
He married Lucy.
He married Lucy.
It is,
God, man,
yeah.
we're really putting it together.
Charlie Brown if he
Snoopy
married
hates him.
Lucy.
And there was a dog that had Buck and Snoopy.
Do you feel like Snoopy hated Charlie?
I thought Snoopy really hated Charlie Brown.
Really?
Maybe
They had a really loving relationship.
Yeah, it was
I
a boy
don't-
and his dog.
Oh, it's so sweet.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. So, queso. That's Mexican cheese.
No,
Delicious.
It's queso is one of the golden ratio dogs, and she's beautiful.
Here we go. This is going to be our drawing for who picks the final main attraction and also receives a copy of Robotone's book.
You get 2 prezzies.
People. Are you ready?
Yes.
Dun 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 dun
Do,
dun
do, 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 do,
Chris
do, do.
Drake.
Chris Drake.
Chris Drake, you are our winner. You'll be picking a final main attraction. The criteria for that is your favorite Halloween special.
I don't know Chris Drake. That's a solid name, though.
It is
It's
a
a
solid,
solid
Yeah.
name. That sounds like it could be like a detective.
or a magician.
Yeah.
I like detective more.
Detective is better than magician.
Like a hardened street detective.
Yeah, so hard.
Works the mean streets of Paducah, Kentucky.
You got to solve these dead prostitutes, Chris Drake.
Whoa.
It looks like they've already been solved, Chief.
How do you solve a dead prostitute?
How did the chicken cross the road?
How do you solve a problem like dead prostitutes?
How do we solve a problem like
By
prostitutes?
making more.
What do you say to the woman with 2 black eyes? Now that you haven't already told her twice.
Oh, Amy.
They're too far. That's a Married with Children joke.
That's one thing Al never did. No domestic violence.
That's true, actually. I'm surprised they never went there.
Yeah.
Like the Honeymooners.
Yeah. Think about that.
I used to love that show.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, that's a good one. All right. Anything else that you guys want to say before we move along to
Thanks for
the
having
afterlife?
me.
You are always welcome.
Thanks for being on the show for 2.5 hours now.
Yeah, we love
You
having
live here
you.
now.
Oh, my God.
Seriously.
Would you have me? I'd have me.
I left my car running.
At the end of every regular podcast, we thank our patrons, our Beelzebubs. These are our producer level folks. If you want to become one of them, go to patreon.com/NOTLP. Welcome to the Beelzebub Club, Iona.
Woo! What's up, girl? She's from the
other
she
side of
comes
the
from a
globe.
land down under.
That's right.
Is that yeah? Mm-hmm. How'd I do?
Ernie?
Yeah, woo!
Woo! Ooh, Branan and Emily.
I was Arsenio Hall fist bumping for you guys.
Jeff Lancaster.
Oh,
No Jimmy B. Cassie and Jeremy.
What's up, y'all? You're here in town right now.
They are. They're just around the corner.
Hello.
Yeah, we should dive in. I didn't want to come in unannounced, but we could literally walk and see them right now if we wanted to.
It's raining.
Amanda.
Girl, woo!
My glasses. I can't see a thing without my glasses. Tree and Alex.
You guys know the Bundy Bounce?
the new Alante.
Brandon Boone out on the road. Still waiting on that road song, Brandon.
Yeah.
Something about how hard it is when your family is at home and you're on the road, and like something about cigarettes and I don't know,
Whiskey.
whatever they do. Bill F up in New York. That's New York.
Now that's New York.
Yogurt beds. If you haven't seen the Will Sasso New York video,
That's wonderful.
thank you, Jason, for bringing that in my life.
It sounded like you said yogurt breads.
Yogurt breads. Blake. Mark. That's Mark. I should actually pronounce people's names the proper
Mac.
way, probably.
What's up, Mac?
And then Alise, who is also just mere steps from where we are right now.
Steps.
Thank you so much, y'all. If you are one of our patrons that has a shirt coming to you and I don't have your size, or if your size has changed since last year, please message me as soon as possible. The shirt order goes in at the end of this week. So get that to me ASAP. Thank you again so much. We love you guys.
Yes.
And we'll see you next week for more Halloween specials. Don't look under the bed.